Yeah, we're going to pull in now in just a moment. Left-hand side is Black Rock Pier, and when that first opened in the 1950s, that was a men-only bathing area. Now, every day of the year, no matter what the weather, you'll see people jumping off there into the ocean, and you'll also see a great deal of them jumping straight back out again when they realise how cold that water is. Temperatures here vary from cold to colder. And that translates as the Real Road. The reason it's called that is because this was built as part of a famine relief project. During the Great Hunger here, the Victorians believed that a person should get nothing for nothing. And so, instead of just feeding the starving people here, they would put them to work on tasks like this road and other much more pointless tasks. Paying them a token amount at the end of the day, just to take it right back off them again for a bowl of food. That was the free market economics of a man called Charles Trevelyan. To help with the relief effort here, the Choctaw Nation in the US donated $170, empathizing with the Irish, having suffered on the Trail of Tears themselves in the previous 2 decades. Last year, down in the county of Cork, the leader of the country, the Taoiseach, thanked and honoured members of that community for their very generous contribution, and he unveiled a statue in their honour down there too. And on the left-hand side, we've got our own Wimbledon, GAWL-way Lawn Tennis Club. Up back here, you might see the next Rory McIlroy. It's the right sport, isn't it? Now, a bit of traffic up here today because all the girls from the Jesus and Mary Convent here in front of us getting out from school. This school is run by the Salerno Order of Nuns, and it is one of the finest girls' schools in the country. Down to the right-hand side here, you can find Pearse Stadium, and that's where Galway play their GAA games, Gaelic Athletic Association. We have 4 national sports here in Ireland, all amateur: Gaelic football, hurling, camogie, and Gaelic handball. Hurling is one of the oldest games in the world, as we have it from our mythology, and it is the fastest field sport in the world, and believed to be the inspiration behind games such as hockey, ice hockey, shinty, rounders, and baseball.
That's Coimri province.
As you come up the hill here, if you look over these houses on the left-hand side, you'll see a concrete structure, and that is 4 handball alleys, side by side and back to back, where we play the 4th of our national sports, Gaelic handball. All you need to play that game is a ball, a wall, and 2 players with hands. As the great emancipator, Mr. O'Connell has the premier street in our capital city of Dublin named after him, and a street in almost every town in Ireland. And here in Galway is the most stone walls in Ireland. That tree that we have in front of us now on the left-hand side, beside the road, is a whitethorn tree, and along with the blackthorn tree, that is the source of our shillelaghs, traditional walking sticks here in the west of Ireland, named after a village in the beautiful county of Wicklow. Those trees are also heavily associated with the fairies, in fact known as fairy trees. Columbus came here to Galway, it's believed for two reasons. One, to worship in that church as it is dedicated to the patron saint of sailors, St. Nicholas of Myra, and the other was to investigate tales of St. Brendan's voyage across the Atlantic almost 1,000 years before Columbus himself would go. While he was here, the fisherman brought him to the shores of Galway Bay, showed him what he noted in his journal was one of the most remarkable sights I have ever seen. And this was, as he wrote, two men riding in or on tree trunks who died in the waters and washed ashore here by the tides. He also noted that they looked like no European they'd ever seen before. This convinced him that something other than ocean lay to the west. He was being born out in Connemara, beautiful region out to the west of us here. There's no evidence to suggest he was or wasn't, but he did have his ashes scattered out there. Probably most famous for playing T.E. Lawrence in Lawrence of Arabia, and for getting the most Oscar nominations without ever winning. 8 in total. Mr. O'Toole said about his own upbringing, "I am not from the working class, I am from the criminal class." Richard Harris also played the Bull McCabe in the film The Field, which was shot out in Connemara, out in the beautiful village of Linan. And behind the valley, other movie shot out in that region was The Quiet Man, starring John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara, both of Irish ancestry. Now, as you come down here, we will see 4 signs appear in front of us. 3 of these are bilingual, with Gaelic on top and English on the bottom, and the other one is just As Gaeilge. And the reason that one is just in Irish is because Moy Cullen, as it says there, or Moy Cullen, is in one of our Gaeltacht regions. And in these regions, Irish is considered to be the first language spoken. There are a few Gaeltacht regions here in Ireland, mostly in the west. And the largest Gaeltacht region is right here in Galway, the Connemara Gaeltacht. And in the county of Galway live approximately 50% of all native Irish speakers, with about 10% here in the city of Galway itself. Approximately 18,000 students in attendance here, and along with Galway Mayo Institute of Technology and other third level institutes here, they all help to make Galway one of the youngest cities in Europe. Population here, approximately 18,000. With a great deal of those people being between the ages of 18 and 35. Famous attendees here in the university include the President of Ireland, Mr. Michael D. Higgins, and the man who played the President on the small screen, the actor Martin Sheen. He studied here a few years ago for 6 months, studying philosophy, starred of The West Wing and Apocalypse Now. Some other notable scholars from Ireland include the Bishop George Berkeley, former Archbishop of the Church of Ireland and idealist philosopher. He has a university named after him over in the state of California, Berkeley University. He was a contemporary of the former Dean of St. Patrick's Cathedral, Jonathan Swift, author of Gulliver's Travels. Both of those men great humanitarians and damning critics of the government of the early 1700s and their treatment of the poor, with Berkeley writing The Queerest, where he posed many questions to the government of the time, and Swift writing one of the most shocking pieces of material ever produced on this island, A Modest Proposal, of course deliberately meant to shock. Other scholars include Nobel Prize winner Seamus Heaney, William Butler Yeats, James Joyce and Oscar Wilde. There in front of us now, we got the student bank. That's where the students come to get money for drink. I mean, academic studies. Now when we come up the road here, we're going to pass by the original campus of Queen's University as it was known 170 years ago. This building, known as the Quadrangle up ahead behind that wall, built in the Tudor Gothic style from local limestone, was the original campus. And as we're passing by the wall here of that campus, you can see a gate up ahead in the wall. After we pass that gate, if you look over the wall, you'll see a tree planted by Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles on a visit here in 2015.
Wow.
In on the grounds there. We'll be coming into view in just a moment. So there it is now on the left with a little plaque on the ground in front of it. An Irish oak. And that's going to look great in about 100 years. I can't wait. Ireland was once said to be so densely forested that a squirrel travelling from one end of the country to the other could have done so without touching the ground. Nowadays, one of the least forested countries in Europe. Just 5 kilometres or so from Lough to GAWL-way Bay. On the right hand side, Nuns Island. Got a nice market there on a Saturday afternoon. Now, as we come over Beggar's Bridge, we've arrived at the Church of Our Lady, assumed into heaven at St. Nicholas. Completed in 1965, thanks largely to the efforts of Bishop Michael Brown. Also thanks to donations from people abroad and here, most notably the Kennedy family. Go in there, you can appreciate those stained glass windows from inside where they're meant to be appreciated from. Also the Connemara marble floor and marble quarry just out the road from us here in Connemara. Very, very beautiful church. As we come over the Samomere Bridge here, if you look left you can see the pillars that used to carry the Galway Clifton Railway line over the River Corrib, built by Alexander Nemo. On the right hand side you got the river walk here, that'll take you down to the Spanish Arch in less than 10 minutes. And in front of us the courthouse of Galway, built in 1812. Now folks, we'll be back to stop number 1 in just a few moments, but before that, just to let you know, your tickets are valid for 48 hours. So you can take 8 consecutive services with us. You take the trip again tomorrow, you'll have a different guide giving you different perspectives on aspects of the city. I'm Fred and he's Ted. And if you think we did enough to deserve it, well, we do have a gratuity bucket downstairs, which is optional, not obligatory, of course. If you went straight ahead here, folks, and took a left, you'd find Wood Quay, and that is where the Corrib Princess departs to take you for a cruise into Lough Corrib, should you wish to do it. Now, if you want a nice traditional meal, bacon and cabbage down there in Monroe's in the West End. It's a very popular choice here in Ireland. And I'm told that is the best bacon and cabbage in Galway. Here on the right hand side, a Franciscan friary founded back in the 1800s. Down this road on the left hand side you can find Max Swiggins. Very tasty food in there. Nice early bird menu up until 7 o'clock in the evening. Up ahead here on the left hand side is Zappi's, where you get Italian food, excellent pizza in particular. And just past that then on the left you have the Cellar Bar. Very reasonably priced meals in there and good soup and sandwich deals too. As we turn left, if you look right, that's the main strip running through the city. Williamsgate Street, Shop Street, Quay Street. Less than 10 minutes down to Spanish Arch. Now folks, we are arriving back at stop number 1. You're going to be joining us again. I look forward to seeing you. If not, enjoy the rest of your stay. Get home safe when you go. Mind your step getting off the bus, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be downstairs. Gonna be the Agus Slán Lad. Thank you and bye for now.